Hey guys, welcome to episode 18 of Crash Nitro Kart. Last we left off, we finished up the rest of Terra while explaining a kind of unfortunate situation, and we are now entering Barin, starting with Meteor Gorge and going with Crash. So yeah, much like Cortex, crap speed, great acceleration, and passable turning. In CTR, he was a jack-of-all-trades, master of none, completely balanced in every stat. I'm not sure if that was the case in the console versions of Nitro Kart or not. Anyway, like I had explained, I unfortunately had to redo episodes 17 through 22 due to background crap picking up on the mic, because the 3DS mic is way more sensitive than you might think. So yeah, unfortunately that happened. I do have at least a few things I can talk about, since I do remember some of the stuff that was lost in the old footage. But I'll save those for there, just because I want to at least keep it somewhat close to the source material. At any rate, yeah, the one segment of 22 that I did not have to redo, thank God I did not have to redo that one. That one in particular, and I'll explain why when we get to that point. Yeah, so for episode 22, that segment is old footage, and the rest of what you're going to be seeing for 22 is redone footage. For recording purposes, anyway. I want to at least keep things as decent in terms of quality for audio as possible, without any of the background crap. Except for the fact that sometimes you'll hear my chair because it's kind of old, and I will be saying that a lot throughout that part of the recording. Spoilers. I'm sorry, but it's, well, to be fair, it's not very important stuff. But anyway, yeah, I can't really say stuff that I haven't already said, but, well, I have to, just because, well, that was lost in the old footage. And I think that was my own Nitro, too. I would have been freaking embarrassed had I ran into that. That would have been pathetic. But yeah, my intention for this recording session is to get as many of the lost episodes redone as I possibly can. I'd like to get all 6 done, but I'm not certain if I will. Chances are I'll get at least 4. Preferably I'd like to get them all done so I don't have to worry about this again. And let's just hope this is the only time I have to redo shit like this. Also, a little bit of extra information. I only ended up having to redo the second half of episode 16, but that wasn't much, so that's nothing too major. Alright, who actually made the other 3 slots? I know I'm pretty far ahead. Okay, Oxide. I wasn't paying attention to the top 4. I was so focused on actually driving. I would assume one of them would be at least Cortex. Entropy. Can we get Engine or Untrans to complete the ends? Yes, we can. Awesome. That is amazing. Right, refreshing recording. Alright, it's time for the next track. And that would be Barin Ruins. Good God, the puns. They are terrible. But yeah, that aside, I guess there is something I can mention about Nitro Kart, at least in this version. I already, at the time of this recording, 100%ed the game with Team Cortex. Well, at the time of this file, as it were. I've already 100%ed the game with Team Cortex. At the time of this recording, I already did everything, but I have to go back and redo some things, as I mentioned earlier. But the point is, if you delete, let's say, your Team Cortex save file. And you have a 100% Team Bandicoot file, but that was your only Team Cortex file. Guess what? Everything from Team Cortex is now locked again. So let's say I did have two 100% save files, one for both teams, and I deleted one of their files. Let's say I did the Team Cortex file just to be on the hypothetical side, Entropy would be locked again. Yeah, I don't know why, and why did I do that? That was pathetic. Anyway. I know that was Dingo's ice trap. I'd rather not run into that if I can afford it. Ow. And that pretty much prevents me from getting my Nitro. Damn. Never mind. Yeah, that aside, like, that's something I actually forgot to mention in the initial recordings, so at least something came out of this that was actually, you know, worthwhile. But aside from that, there really isn't much to talk about. Because again, I've already said everything in the initial recording attempts. Unfortunately, that all got lost. Because of background crap picking up on the mic, I had to delete the footage. Oh well. And speaking of Dingodile, he just suddenly came from behind out of nowhere. Wow. Rubber banding AI, my friends. It's a pain in the ass. Wow. 22666. That's kind of amusing. How appropriate it's Oxide, too, given he was the CTR final boss. I have been doing this, Aku Aku. Shut up. I'll be right back. Alright, the final track of Barin is Deep Sea Driving. Let's get this over with. Alright, pretty good. Now, I just prefer to get this over with just because, well, for me, I've already done this. For you guys, assuming you're watching the complete playlist, or you've already seen the Team Cortex playlist, you've already seen this. But I have to go through this again with Team Bandicoot more times than intended because of, well, that recording hiccup. I'm not going to let myself live that down until that gets completely fixed. By that I mean once I finish up the redone episodes, as it were. Still, I can't believe that actually happened. Well, kind of not surprised, given I try to record sometimes earlier than my usual save time, but 90% of the time that just doesn't go well. Okay, whoever shot that, I'm backing up into that. Give me my perma shield, thank you. That was just a troll move on your part, Oxide. What the hell? Tiny. I should be able to come back from this little deficit, as it were. Thing is, though, we're on the same stats, so... Oh yeah, something about Oxide. In CTR, he was the final boss, and much like the bosses in this game, he had perfect stats. Not the case here. In Nitro Kart, he was actually nerfed for playability reasons. And I believe in both the GBA version and the console versions, he has the same stats as Crash. Actually, I know for a fact that's the case in this version. Not certain about the console versions. But yeah, each character you unlock has the same stats as, like, your base racers. Like, Entrance is basically engine stats. I forget who else. Dingodile is tiny stats, obviously. Oxide is Crash's stats. The boss races are perfect stats. But yeah, that's beside the point. Oh crap, I didn't even realize this was the final lap. This is gonna be close. Not as close as I initially thought. Yeah, that moment when you don't realize it's the final lap and someone's right on your ass. Near the end of the race, no less. Cortex and Tiny. Okay. I've been doing this, Aku Aku. I've been doing this for years, back in CTR. Right, I'll be right back. Alright, time for the second world champion. Barin's champion, Nash. Not Charlie Nash, because, well, he's awesome. And, as Engine informed me in the Team Cortex run, he is a cybernetic shark. Anyway, you'll notice we're literally back in the same track we were just on, deep sea driving. Something I forgot to mention in the Crunk race, yet again, is that when you race a boss racer, they're on a track you've already raced on. In the case of Crunk, it was Jungle Boogie. Here, we're on deep sea driving. Now, to talk about Nash, he's kind of a beefed up Crunk. He throws the TNTs much like Crunk does, but he'll also mix that in with ice traps. Oh, well that was embarrassing. Sometimes the way hitboxes work confuses me, and I was screwed either way. It was either fall off the track in that situation, or get hit by a TNT, so pick your poison, really. I'd like to point out the fact that I'm keeping up with him, if not catching up to him, when my speed stat... Okay, bravo on your aim there, for once. But yeah, I would like to point out the fact that for once I was catching up with him, when his speed stat is actually way higher. Yeah, I rest my case. Like, what the hell? And spoilers, that kind of thing happens a lot throughout the remaining episodes that I didn't have to cut. And by that I mean the ones I didn't have to reattempt. Put it to you that way. Well, re-record, I should say. If I was reattempting an episode, I'd be playing the story mode of a frickin' BlazBlue game. At least I think that's what it is, anyway. Alright, final lap. If anything, at the very least, Nash gets another chance at me. Unfortunately, we're not seeing the hilarity that happened in the Team Cortex run. And you know what? I'm going to explain what happened. It was in this lap, actually. I think there was like a bunch of TNTs that I believe I planted, and he just kept running into them when he dodged them the first two laps. Except for one I planted in the final lap itself, which was the last one I got to plant. He frickin' ran into all of them and just could not get them off of himself. Some of which I think he actually detonated himself by trying to place another TNT. Yeah, that was kind of funny and barely under 3 minutes. Good God. You got yourself another shot, Nash. You just couldn't take it. And what they don't mention here is he's kind of a sore loser. Because Crunch is usually like, you lost, sucker. And Nash is just a whiny little bitch about it. I don't care! Hacked his brain and put him to sleep. Looked like he needed some, the poor shark thingy. Quoted straight from the console version. Well, console versions, I should say. On to Phenomena, but not quite yet. We gotta clean out Barin first. And we're doing that next time. Next time on Crash Nitro Kart, we're starting the cleanup in Barin. Later, guys.